Knowing how to use the substitution and elimination method for solving a system of equations will be a great help to you on the math portion of the ACT. In this lesson, we will review the methods and discuss when to use each. Let's go to the classroom for this lesson. Okay, let's talk about ways of solving a system of equations. What I'm going to discuss is the two most popular methods. One's called substitution and the other one's called elimination. Let's take a look at substitution first. I'm going to abbreviate that. And the system of equations is basically two equations with two variables that you have in them. First equation, 15x minus 5y equals 30. And the second one, y equals 2x plus 3. What the substitution method is basically is we have y equals something, some expression here. So we're going to take that expression and we're going to look for y in that other equation and we're going to plug it in its place. We are going to substitute it into the other equation. Now let's take a look at what that leaves us with. 15x minus 5 times. Now I'm going to put a set of parentheses when I plug this in so that makes sure that we distribute to both terms. 2x plus 3 there equals 30. What you're going to notice is you're going to get one equation now with one variable. We can solve for x now. So let's start by distributing our negative 5 first. So we're going to get negative 5 times 2x, that's negative 10x. Negative 5 times positive 3, that's negative 15, equals 30. All right, let's combine our like terms. So that's these guys. You're going to get 5x out of that. 5x minus 15 equals 30. Now let's add 15 to both sides. And we'll get 5x equals 45 when we add 15 to both sides. Divide by 5 now. So we're going to get x equals 9. Now don't forget, we've got to solve for y also. So you can go and put 9 into the first equation for x or in the second one. You'll notice with the second equation, it goes y equals. That's easier to solve. You already got what y equals. That's what we need to find what y is. So let's substitute. Let's take that 9 and plug it in for x in the second equation instead. So we're going to get y equals 2 times, what's our x value that we found? That's 9. And then plus 3. All we got to do is the math now. So 2 times 9, that's 18. 18 plus 3, that's 21. So we're going to get y equals 21. And the way you can check is you can take both these numbers, x and y, and they have to work for both. So you can take the time if you want, if you have time, but really with ACT, you just got to move. You're done, you got to trust your work, and go on. Now let's talk about elimination. Let me show you an example of elimination. 5x plus 4y equals 7. The other one is 3x plus 2y equals 3. What you'll notice is you'll see the x's, the y's, and the constants are all lined up. So the x terms, y terms, constants, the ones that don't have variables with them, lined up. So what a lot of times people do, they'll say, well, if we combine the x's, that's 8x. We combine the y's, that's 6y. And then we would get 10. We would have x's and y's. We can't solve for x and y that way. So we have to use some kind of algebraic manipulation. We're going to multiply one of these equations by a number to see if we can get things to cancel. You're allowed to multiply an equation by any number as long as you multiply every term by it. So it's legal to do that. So let's take a look. Can we multiply 3 to get 5? No. Can we multiply 2 to get 4? Yes, we can. But one thing we have to remember is when we're doing elimination, these numbers would have to be opposites. So I can multiply 2 to get 4, but I need to make it its opposite. So that means we're going to have to multiply this equation by negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. That would give us 4 minus 4y, and that would cancel the y's, leaving us with just x's so we can solve for x. So let's go ahead and write the first equation down. And then let's multiply the negative 2 times everything. It's just basically you're distributing the negative 2. So you're going to get negative 6x minus 4y equals negative 6. Now if you notice, the y's would cancel because 4 minus 4y is 0. That's gone. So now you only have left, when you take 5 minus 6x, that's negative x, equals 7 minus 6, excuse me, is 1. Now, don't leave your answer like that because you didn't get x by itself. Some people like to do that. They would think that's 1 is an answer, and guess what? That's going to be a choice on the ACT. You need to get x by itself. That means you got to get rid of this negative. So let's divide by negative 1, make it easy. So that's going to give us x equals 1 divided by negative 1. Last time I checked was negative 1. Now, don't forget, you're not done. You've got to go back and find y. Does it matter which one of these two original equations that you plug them in? No, it's got to work for either one. I like to just use the equation that had the smaller numbers. It usually just makes it easier to work with. So I'm going to plug it into the very original second equation. So we're going to take x, we're going to plug negative 1 in for it. So we're going to have 3 times negative 1 plus, and then we're going to have 2y equals 3. This 3 times 1, that's negative 3, plus 2y equals 3. So now we're going to have to add 3 to both sides to get rid of this guy. So we're going to get 2y equals 3 plus 3 is 6. Solve for y, you got to divide by 2. So y is going to be equal to 3. Now you're probably wondering, well, why do we got to learn 2 different methods? I really like substitution, or I really like elimination. Let's talk about it, because sometimes, given the situation, one method's actually faster. If you start out with one of the equations, y equals something, or x equals something, you got one of the variables by itself. It leads to, you want to do substitution, because if you have x equals stuff or y equals some stuff, you go plug it into the first equation. It's faster, it's more convenient. If you have variables lined up in a row, it's organized, it's ready, it basically says do elimination. It just depends on what you're given, which one works the best, which one is actually faster.